Welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Diorio. Tonight, Vic Chao, the voice of Tseng himself, is hanging out with us for Game Night tonight. We are also joined by our version of Wedge, the Beanie, Gerard Barrera.
Hello, all my fellow nerds and nerdettes. It is a great day. Thank you for joining us, Victor. And Lion's Mane, how you doing? How you guys doing today?
Lion's Mane, Jason Belidio is up there in the corner joining us as well.
How's it going, guys? How's it going?
Yeah. That's an awesome nickname. I am so jealous that you have a nickname like Lion's Mane. That's awesome.
He's had it for years.
He's had it forever.
Yeah.
I used to have longer hair, and it was just like all over the place. And then right now it's all tame because I have my headset on. But
when it's wild, it has like this kind of like loop that just looks like a mane, and that's where it came from.
That's awesome.
You know what, Vic? I've got a picture from his wedding that I took with a flooped back a little bit. I will send it to you so you can understand what we mean by that. Yeah.
So is there a fan that's like blowing and like causing it to like
cascade?
No,
that would have been awesome.
It's just my presence. My presence does that, you know. It just always would.
Even in closed rooms, a gust of wind will still hit the hair.
So Vic, how are you doing? How are you and your family holding up with all the craziness going on in the world?
I think the answer is we're doing as well as can be expected. So it's like this isn't a lot of fun. The dog is really confused. The dog is just like, why are we so antisocial all of a sudden? You know, we passed by dogs and friends that she normally loves to see, and of course we're not going anywhere near, and so she's terrifically confused. And we may actually move to pad training her to actually pad training her, so that she doesn't go out at all. Which will be sad for all of us, but it's just like, it's where as long as we're staying healthy, then we can't complain. Absolutely. And may I just say that it took a pandemic for me to discover that beans are freaking delicious.
I saw that post on Twitter.
I'm so stupid. I have lived like the entirety of my life thinking that I didn't like beans, and a pot of beans is fantastic tasting. I'm so dumb. So
are you betraying our rice brethren?
Here's the thing: is I love rice, but it's the blood sugar thing. Yeah, it's the carby thing, and so that's why I had to cut back on carbs in general about a year ago. I got that call of, you're a little bit. Actually, the phrase pre-diabetic is great because it's a really scary phrase because it's got the word diabetes in there. Yep. But they give you that pre-diabetic thing as a warning to scare you, and it totally worked because. I got scared and then brought my blood sugar down by cutting back on carbs, exercising more. Now everything's a little bit tougher, but hey, beans are a good combo there because there's a lot of protein in there to blunt the carbs, so it's all good. But no, I'm not betraying anything. I still love my rice. Don't worry. Listen,
I don't know if I could give up pasta. I really don't. I mean, we do it about once a week. Oh, it is. It's generational. Yeah. So let's get into some things here. Before we get into your career and more than just Final Fantasy, I wanted to cover just real quick Square Enix's announcement in case people hadn't seen it yet. This came out this week, and it reads, "The Final Fantasy team has worked extremely hard to make this game, and we were already incredibly proud of what you are about to play. Our biggest motivator during the development was that so many of you were willing us on, and we felt your enthusiasm and passion every step of the way. We had to make some hard decisions to make, we had some hard decisions to make during the final few weeks before launch due to disruption to distribution channels caused by the spread of COVID-19 virus. These unique circumstances have made it very difficult to align the timing of our global shipping. Our highest priority is that all of you, including those who live in countries currently facing the biggest disruption, aka the US, can play the game at launch. So we made the decision to ship the game for earlier than usual to Europe and Australia. As a result, there is a great chance that many of you in these regions will now get a copy of the game prior to the worldwide release date of April 10th. For other Western regions, including the Americas, copies will be shipped this week, and we feel optimistic that most of you will receive the game for launch day. However, due to the challenging situation, we cannot provide delivery dates for each country and each retailer. We really want all of you looking forward to the remake to play the game on April 10th and experience everything we have been working together. To everyone, we would like to ask one big favor. If you get the game early, please think of others and don't spoil it for them. We know there are potential spoilers that have been out there for over 2 decades, as the original Final Fantasy VII was released in 1997. But FF7 Remake is a new game that will have many surprises for everyone. All of our fans and players deserve to experience the game for themselves, and we ask for the support of our dedicated community around the world to ensure that. On behalf of the entire development team and everyone around the world that has worked on getting Final Fantasy VII Remake to you all, including our guest Vic here, thank you again for your support, and most importantly, please stay safe. Yoshinori Kitase and Tetsuya Nomura both signed it. So the reason they had to do that, folks, is because they needed to make sure the game got out to everybody physical copy-wise. Now, this was kind of a precursor to Europe and Australia getting it, but where it's more saying don't spoil it is because EB Games, the GameStop of Australia, sold the game early and massively broke street date. So Square Enix, respecting all of us that haven't gotten the game yet, whether it's digitally or physically, whether from Amazon, Best Buy, or whatever, they went after the Twitch streamers and got them banned. And I thank them for that because it's been really hard to not look at Twitter a lot for the Final Fantasy news, because I follow Vic, I follow Bree, John, Britt Barron on that. So when you hear that, Vic, that people still, they got the copy early, knowing full well what they were doing, kind of were spoiling it for everyone. How does that make you feel being part of that project?
I understand. I appreciate the enthusiasm, absolutely, and how wonderful to be allowed to open up your Christmas present on December 15th instead of on Christmas. But so it's like that in and of itself really should be enough. Go ahead and play it privately. And then once the actual release, once it's actually officially been released, then go ahead and Twitch stream it all you want. So I understand the enthusiasm. I just don't want things getting spoiled for people, because there's just wonderful storytelling that we want to play instead of just being told what happens. So
exactly, and I want to be able to experience it myself, because Final Fantasy VII was what truly got me into Final Fantasy.
Same with me. That was my first Final Fantasy playing on PlayStation.
My first Final Fantasy was what's deemed as 6, but back in the day it was 3 when they did the whole weird numbering on Super Nintendo, but never got me. It never hooked me. I was like, this is okay. But then Final Fantasy VII comes around, and it hooked me right away. I loved it, and I've been a fan of the franchise ever since. It is, right there as my second all-time favorite Final Fantasy. But yeah, so I'm glad that they're doing this.
Yeah, it's just deemed as one of those games that, when growing up, it was one of those first games where the story almost exceeded the game, where you got so delved into the story. It was almost like you were watching a movie, but you were interacting with it. That was the first kind of experience I got from that game, where I was just mesmerized, and it was just, I wanted to do everything in the game. It was a lot of fun, and it's got to be amazing to be a part of that.
I would call it a generational game.
Yeah, because 20 years ago, it came out, and we're just like, dude, we're all in this teen phase where this is the big thing, This is this is oh man, how far are you? How far did you get? Talking about it over lunch, nonstop, And that's why this anticipation is I feel so
Oh, I
Me
can't
personally, I'm a little angered that like people are already like, hey, like check this out, trying to get like the ratings boosts.
wait.
But at
Being
the
the
same
first
time,
one, of
yeah.
course,
But
there's
at the
always
same
one.
time, it's just like you have to wait because it's been in production for quite a while now, and there's so much effort, so much time put in where
Hmm.
I will, regardless of like, okay, like I'm probably won't get it like the exact day, probably the 11th, because like ironically my wedding anniversary is the 10th. But but it's just like one of those things where I am like looking forward to it so much that it's just like, okay, I am definitely gonna just sit
Yeah.
down, buy it, enjoy it myself privately, and then be like, okay, like
Yeah,
chit
this
chat
has
with
been
everybody and see what's up.
years in the waiting, especially on my side where I have I've gone through an emotional roller coaster with this game that I've been waiting for so long. Ever since this has been ever since Jason and I actually worked together,
Yeah.
where we were like, dude, it's coming out, it's gonna be here, like we can't wait, and then yeah, 13 years, 12 years later, finally. So yes,
So,
like we are all excited for it. It's going to be a great game.
so
And
let's.
I've
Go ahead.
heard multiple times from multiple people that 7 was their favorite one of the
Oh
whole
yeah,
series. So I mean, so yeah, it's pretty amazing. And yeah, and it's like kudos to Square Enix for bending the rules because they didn't want to disappoint people by getting it out late.
Mhm.
So don't punish Square Enix for trying to make sure people don't
I
get
mean,
disappointed,
Yeah.
COVID's delaying a lot, and to your point,
Yeah.
I absolutely applaud them for let's get it out early, ship it out early, so make sure everybody
And
gets it because
planning ahead like that. Yeah.
unfortunately, Naughty Dog has now postponed Last of Us 2 and delayed it, and there's not a date yet because they
Oh, wow.
can't print the game. They can't. I mean, they can't do the physical merchandising for it
Mhm.
because everything's shut down. So they can't print the discs. They can't do the casing or anything like that. So it's now kind of to be determined based on the COVID. So I want to introduce everybody to Vic, though. I mean, yes, everybody's more interested in you as Tseng, but a lot of these people need to kind of understand who you are, like we've done with John and Bree, and we'll do with Austin next week. But so you started off as actually going to Stanford to get
Yes.
and you got a degree in mechanical engineering, and you were a cheerleader.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
yeah, you got into gymnastics and martial arts. What I mean, and you went on to develop medical devices and stuff when you were living in Chicago. So how did you go from mechanical engineering to acting?
Yeah.
I would say there's a lot of answers to it. One of the quick answers is overcompensation. So growing up, I was the short, skinny nerd that got bullied all the time, and that was just who I was. I just got bullied a lot because I was really tiny, and so I got into gymnastics because my high school just happened to have a gymnastics program, and I was like, well, if I'm going to be 5 foot tall for the rest of my life, I might as well do this sport, and that sort of taught me, oh my gosh, I can actually do something physical. I didn't realize that I could do this, and so, but of course, I have a very traditional Asian upbringing, and so math and science has always been emphasized in our family, and it's like completely understand, because if it weren't for math and science, my parents wouldn't have been able to come to the United States. They're responsible. Math and science is what allowed our family to be in this country and put food on the table and stuff. So I get it. It's totally cool. I never particularly enjoyed math and science. I worked hard at it, and was very blessed to go to Stanford. And I don't like engineering, but again, I just had to do the nice Asian thing. So I did the nice Asian thing, and I studied engineering. And in the meantime, like I walked onto the Stanford gymnastics team for about 2 weeks. They were the number 1 team in the country. They had a guy who took the silver medal in Atlanta. I was not needed at all. I was not needed at all. So yeah. It's just like basically,
That
unless
had
there was
to be a that had to be a gut check. You're like, cool, I'm gonna walk on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 national champions here. The 2 national champions weren't even the silver medalists from Atlanta. They were the national champions, and the coach himself, he said, 10 years ago I could have used a gymnast like you, but I don't need you now. And it's like, okay, well, at least there's no false hopes here. And I just figured, unless there's a big team bus accident, I was not going to be useful. But then I became a cheerleader instead, which is incredibly fun and a lot easier on your body than pure gymnastics. Mm-hmm. But yes, continued the engineering thing, studied it, and became a medical device engineer for Baxter Healthcare. And literally the very first day of my job, I told my mother, I'm only doing this long enough to save up enough money to become an actor. And once I do, I'm going to quit.
Wow.
And nice.
How was that conversation?
Right.
Well, that sounded like the fantasy realm. So at the time, my mom was just like, whatever, sure, fine. 3 years later, when I actually had saved up enough money and decided to quit, that's when things got a little bit uglier.
I can imagine.
And again, totally get it. My mother's, immigrant engineer, and thank goodness for her chemical engineering degrees. So I totally get it. But thank goodness I chose that path, because I'm a lot happier now. Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful. I love what I do. The worst day acting, still better than the best day engineering. And I even got to parlay the gymnastic skills into being the mascot for the Chicago Bulls.
I was gonna ask you about that.
No way.
No. Now, what era was this in, though? Was this the Jordan era, or this after the Jordan era?
I got Jordan's last year, which was just incredible.
Oh,
so man. It was truly amazing. I mean, I would show up for work 3 hours early just because I loved being at the United Center, like just the mystique of it, the aura, and yeah, just walking through the tunnels past Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
Oh,
and of course,
on the floor. Oh, you got to be on the floor. Man.
And of course, the question everyone's always asking is like, so did you get to talk to Michael Jordan? And the honest truth is, I was too intimidated. I never had the guts to wave hi, because just in case I ever distracted him for the slightest moment.
Yep. You didn't want to be the guy.
Exactly. Be like,
to break the concentration.
Exactly. I missed that game-winning shot because the other day, because earlier the bull waved at me and I was in my head.
Yeah.
So I truly was too intimidated to wave hi to him. Although what was wonderful was Steve Kerr actually would go out of his way to say hi to you. So he would always say hi. He would pass by and like chat with you. So yeah, I have a special fondness for Steve Kerr, for just reaching out to somebody who's like me, who's incredibly actually shy despite my profession and stuff like that. Go ahead.
What was it like to have that intro, right? Everybody knows the Bulls intro during the Jordan era. What was it like to be on the floor as the mascot, hearing that intro, and then at guard number 20, 23, Michael Jordan? What was it like to be on the floor at that time during that era?
So glad you asked that question, because I haven't thought about that for a while. But I as you say that, I'm remembering being in the outfit and hearing that Alan Parsons Project, that big gong, da, 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 and then the lights go out, and then like my heart starts pumping. I'm just standing there, the adrenaline's flowing through me, and it's just like, and they introduce the starters one at a time, and there's always applause, and Scottie Pippen gets great applause, but you never ever got to hear Michael Jordan's name because once Ray Clay, the announcer, would start up with, and from North Carolina, then just the whole stage, just it's a roar. You don't hear anything, and you just see Michael Jordan coming out. it's an amazing experience that I was very blessed to do.
So, which is better, working for the Bulls or working for the Clippers at Staples Center?
It's difficult to compare the two. I would but the of course being around Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, that, and just the legends, that has to take the cake. In addition to that, I'm wearing the costume, and the costume makes it a lot easier to be outgoing and goofy because you're no longer being yourself. Vic himself is a really goofy, dorky guy, but it doesn't matter. Once I put on the costume, I get to be whatever I want, and so that's why I love being a mascot so much, is because the anonymity of the mask frees you up to do anything.
So, before we get into your highlights, on your site you mentioned that the Jeffersons of all shows is kind of your inspiration for acting, and that you want to be a positive role model for the Asian American community. What about it, the Jeffersons, really gravitated you towards, moving on up?
I was waiting for it. I don't know why I was waiting for it.
The thing is that growing up, there were not many black kids in my school. There weren't many black people in my neighborhood. So I didn't actually know what black people were like. I didn't really understand what black people were like, but there was TV. And every night at 6:30, the Jeffersons came on in reruns, and I would just watch it. And I basically, just by watching it every day, I got the understanding, so black people, they can be wealthy, they can come in a variety, they can be sassy, they can be hilarious, and basically, 5-year-old Vic or 8-year-old Vic, however old I was when I was watching it, I got the understanding that black people are just like us. And that was just very eye-opening. Black people are just like everybody else in the world. So even though I didn't have a lot of day-to-day encounters in person with them, it just made me realize that they're the same as everybody else. And that's what I would love to portray. And I think we're going a long ways towards it now. Whereas, when I was a kid, there were very few Asian people on television. Sulu, most notably.
Yep.
George Takei, of course. The housekeeper on The Courtship of Eddie's Father. I remember that one too.
Oh wow, that's going way into the vault there.
That's going way back there. But those were kind of the only ones I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, and honestly, I thought Spock was Chinese too growing up. So.
Oh really?
Because
I can see that.
Yeah, he kind of had, he had those sharp features. He had those eyebrows that kind of pointed down, and also he was really good at math. And so I just kind of assumed that he was Chinese, just like me. So because I remember there was an episode where they asked Spock, a mathematical question, and he immediately answers. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely Chinese. So.
So speaking of Star Trek and stuff like that, let's look at your movie highlights to start off with on your career. So you've been in Pearl Harbor. You were Agent Hills in Miss Congeniality 2, which now I need to go back and rewatch it because I haven't watched that movie in ages. I'm like, wait a second. He's in that. Okay. You were Goro in Ready Player One.
Yes.
Which... I go back to Mortal Kombat back when it helped create the ESRB because it was so violent. Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I remember playing that Super Nintendo and Genesis.
I did not know that. Thank you for the history lesson.
So what it was is we didn't have the ESRB back then, and Mortal Kombat comes out and it was ripping spines out, everything like that. And Congress was like, oh no, we got to protect the kids. We've got to have this rating system. So that's where kind of everything started to spawn out of, is because of games like Mortal Kombat at the time. So I can remember going
that actually
to
also
see,
spawned the
yeah.
ratings for games too. Was that was the reason for that?
Yep. And I can remember going to see Mortal Kombat in the theater.
Yep.
Nice.
Way back.
So hopeful, so starry-eyed. Like finally, we got one. We got a video game movie, and
I still
bad.
love it.
It was
still fun to watch.
But that's the thing. I appreciate the first one so much more because it was one of those movies where they had a very small budget, but they made I felt that they made it work with what they had, and then they went completely the other way when they got too much money for the second movie, and then they put too much into the second movie with their budget.
And I mean, honestly, Ready Player One in itself is just a love letter to gamers and movie aficionados, both. So being
80s
Goro,
retro,
not only
everything. Such an amazing. I love that book. That was probably one of my favorite books of the year when it came out. It was great.
I wish we got more of the book in the movie, though. That was my only beef with it.
Yeah.
True.
But
yeah.
Part of that book, though, is so drawn out that if you tried putting it on the silver screen, you would either lose your audience, or B, you would, have a Lord of the Rings type thing where you're sitting in the theaters for like 3 hours. So we look at your TV last one is you were in Abominable as the Jin impersonator as well. TV wise, you were a contestant on American Gladiators.
I got my butt kicked. That hurt so much.
Was which year? Which year was this? Was this when Hulk Hogan brought it back, or was this the original?
This was the original. This was when I was still at Stanford. They did a live tour that came around the country.
I gotta find that episode. That's awesome.
And well, they didn't televise that, unfortunately. It was a live tour. It was all the same gladiators, but they would just, we did it in the Cow Palace, and
okay.
I got my butt kicked. Basically, I did well on the things where being a small, quick guy would be helpful. So I did well on the wall. I did well on assault. The obstacle course. Dodging the tennis ball.
Where you got to use like the crossbow tennis ball and like all those
other.
That was my favorite one. Yeah.
So yes, the agility ones I did well on. Powerball, I just got destroyed.
I can imagine.
And I remember I was leading. I was doing really well going up to Powerball, and so because of that, I think they zeroed in on me and stuff. And one thing I'm just not as good at is just like purely like juking the juking and back and forth. I remember like trying to get tips from the touchdown Tommy Vardell, who was on the Stanford football team at the time on how to try and like fake people out and stuff. Didn't work though. I got destroyed. They basically just manhandled me in Powerball, and there was one point where Tower, who was like this 280-pound guy, like he like managed to grab me like one hand, like one arm under the crotch and one arm under the shoulder, and literally threw me over his shoulders, slammed me right down on my back onto the ground. And I remember like the whole crowd going, ooh.
But you only walked away with some bruises though, right?
Yes, I was. Yes, nothing broken. I counted how many places I was bleeding from floor burns, and it was like 17 different floor burns in different places and stuff. So
Powerball was the one part of the game of Gladiators that had the higher count of injuries.
Really, I didn't know they kept stats on it.
Yeah, it was a YouTuber who loved Gladiator and did those stats, and I was always interested in because Powerball was always the one that just like seemed the toughest, and it was just like you're going head to head with these guys, and it's just
some of whom were NFL professional football players. Makes sense.
They're walls.
Makes
sense. So after that, you've been on Frasier, Gilmore Girls, 24, Monk, Criminal Minds,
One of my favorite
Grey's
shows.
Anatomy, which my wife is going through that right now, and I'm waiting for the episode for Grey's Anatomy so I can be like, hey, there's Vic. And then you are Seis Manos in Chew.
Yes, Chu in Seis Manos, the character Chu
Yep.
in Seis Manos. Yes.
Gaming highlights, you've been in World of Warcraft, Command and Conquer, Red Alert 3 as Dr. Shimada, XCOM, Bioshock Infinite as Chen Lin, Sleeping Dogs as Johnny and Joey Kwan and Suwa. You were Eric Sue and the crew. You are the voice.
Side note, I loved Sleeping Dogs. Always thought it should have at least been adapted as a show or a movie. It was done that well.
That would have been awesome. That would
In
have
my
been
opinion,
awesome.
yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. I was very proud to be part of Sleeping Dogs, and yeah, Square Enix did a great job with it. So
They did.
Oh, and can I interrupt with Chen Lin on BioShock Infinite,
Yeah.
which is that one had the highest ratio of like acclaim to number of words that I actually spoke because I've had so many people who were like, oh, it was so cool trying to find you and everything like that. And honestly, I think I had like maybe like 3 or 4 lines in that whole thing. Like
that's a very small part.
Like the player spends a ton of time looking for me, but there's not much actual interaction with Chen Lin. So yes, in terms of acclaim to actual amount of work, that was a pretty high ratio there.
And then you are Goro in Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Nice.
That one I take great pride in just because
I want to hear the voice. I want to hear
I like
it.
talking like this because honestly, I'm not very cool in real life, and I'm not a tough guy. But when I use this voice, it makes me feel really strong.
So,
I mentioned overcompensation. That's the sort of thing we're talking about.
That is
so you
cool.
were in Spider-Man.
Yes.
You are Coach Wang Chao in NBA 2K19. Now you share some voiceover work history with a cast member of Final Fantasy VII, one John Eric Bentley, because you guys were both in Command and Conquer, XCOM, Spider-Man, and FF7.
Really? I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's been. Give me a second, because I got a surprise for you. He's going to be. He's going to pick up. John wanted to come say hi to you. Oh.
Is that John?
John. Oh, John. We'll give him a minute to say hi there.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
We can hear you. We can hear
Oh
you.
my
There we go.
gosh!
Can't you hear the planet
Oh
crying?
my gosh! Oh dude! Oh my gosh! Hold on. Wait.
My thing ain't working.
Because I got excited and I pressed the button. Hold on. Wait. Okay. Pardon me for being a
speaker's not
Skype
working.
noob. Hold on a second. What did I just do? Oh my gosh! John Bentley, how you doing, man?
Speakers aren't working.
Oh my god! Wait. Okay. What did I do here?
I
I'm
think
so sorry.
that little button that's white that has the 2 screens on it.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
I think you press that again.
Just gotta hit that button again.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's not what I'm. Oh
No,
my
you're
gosh! I feel
fine.
like such an.
John's trying to get all set up there. We can hear you just fine.
We can
there.
hear you, John.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Hi.
My speaker here.
Oh, I can't hear. Okay.
Can't hear.
Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. You guys did a
So-
wonderful surprise, and all I'm doing is trying to figure out how to get things back to where they were before.
So
On
there's
your
a
main screen, there's
a button right about
there's a little
there.
white button. Yeah, you just passed.
Yeah.
There's 2 little boxes and that's colored in white. You press that.
Main screen. You're talking to me right now, right?
Yes. It's right
Yeah,
next to the heart
right.
icon. You just
Right
press
about
the,
here. Right about
Here?
Like, because we can see your screen right now, so like
Yeah.
right where
There
I'm
we
pointing.
go.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
There we go.
That's my
There we go.
goal.
And just click on that icon right there, the right next to the heart.
So I accidentally started sharing my screen with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
So
to the left.
So,
to the
yeah,
left
so
here?
Yeah,
it's
the
like
white
right,
button.
Hear me?
like right about here.
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
Vic, you don't know how to figure this out. You're the first person.
Hey, at least I can hear them. At least I can hear them.
Oh,
You
Let's
see
go.
us?
Well, I'm clearly sharing the screen right now, and I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
So if you look right, like where I'm
Yeah,
pointing,
screen
like
with who?
it's
Yeah, it's on the bottom right next to that heart icon. It looks like 2.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like, that
right
one.
there.
That's the
Just
one.
click it.
Click here.
Click. You were just on it. Just click that
Yeah.
button.
Click this button.
Ooh, a heart.
No, the one next to the heart.
The one next to the heart. To
On
the
the
Share
right.
left.
screen.
2 little.
The share
There you
screen
go.
icon.
Just
That
click
one.
that.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just click that
You were
one.
just on it.
I
Is
want to
this-
say we're seeing John's screen is what it is.
You need me to change it?
No, John's screen looks
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Switch
See, there you
off
go.
to-
Stop
There
sharing.
you go. Put stop
I'm-
sharing, John.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Yep.
Click
You
that.
want me to stop sharing?
Yep, click that.
Yeah.
There we
How
go.
about
Got it.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Oh!
There
Oh!
we go.
Oh!
Okay. All right. John Bentley, how you doing, man?
There we
What's
go.
up, baby?
Dude, it's so good to see you and hear from you. You know, it's funny because I saw your name in the credits, but for some reason I was like, is that the John Bentley? Is that the John Bentley I know? And then I was like, no, wait, the John Bentley I love has a middle name that's different. It's like John Jason Bentley or something like that. And I completely blotched that.
Very white of you,
Clearly.
actually.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, man. How are you?
What's up, baby? I'm just John Eric, and you thought I was Cloud. To tell the truth.
I'm a fool. I'm a fool. And then
No, you
and
aren't.
then
No, you aren't.
anyway, dude, I'm so happy to hear from you. It's so good to see you, man. I only see your profile, but that works. That's all cool.
Oh, you only see a profile? That's because of that sharing thing. I just wanted to make sure that it was your moment. When I found out you were doing the show, I begged Matt to let me just come on and tell you how
Yep.
much I love you.
That's
And I just wanted to say hey and congratulations. This is your time though, but when I found out you were doing it, I'm like, that's my dog from way back in the day.
Dude,
And-
I am happy. I am honored to share any time with John Bentley. John Bentley and I, we go so far back. We were in an acting class together,
Way
like
back.
a long time ago. I don't want to
Leslie
betray how old we
Kahn?
are.
Was it Leslie Kahn? Was that Leslie
Yeah,
Kahn?
Leslie Kahn. Yeah, exactly. And I think we also took a different commercial class together, and then we just see each other. And no, John is just a good guy. It's like there's good actors and there's good guys, but then John Bentley is just a good actor and a good guy. So
I wanna
Man,
say-
you stroking my ego, man.
I wanna say
Look,
there's-
I haven't seen the fellas in
I
3
know,
months,
right?
so they
What's
don't-
up, man? Hey,
Y'all
I
remember
still
last
owe
we
you
did.
some barbecue, baby. So you tell me when.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be a minute, baby. We gotta wait till the air is not blowing all this stuff around.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to say though, I can't think of 2 people better to have for the first ever true crash of game night.
Yeah.
that's
I
awesome.
crashed the
man.
hell out of game night.
Yeah.
You did. You totally crash this, man.
So-
You're welcome to crash anytime.
So when I talked to him, like when I told John this was going on, he's like, dude, I need to crash this call. He's like, he's like, what do I have to do? And I was like, let's just go. Let's do it.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my dog, man. Victor and I go way back. I love him. He's not just a fabulous actor. He's just a good dude. And I'm so happy for you with the baby, with everything, bro, that's going on in your life. I know we don't get to see each other that much because on camera is completely different out here, but thrilled to be a part of the same game with you and just happy for you.
You're just mortal enemies in a game, though.
I know. Like,
yeah, but you know.
It's acting. It's acting. We can hate each other.
About the work, yeah.
Because
Well,
you're
look,
there.
I'm not going.
Vic, you're there in LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as everything holds true and we can hopefully beat this by June, we're all getting together for dinner.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You're gonna have to come down and join us for dinner.
I didn't know you're still coming out. That's outstanding.
Hey, my flight, dude. Southwest is doing so many sales. I keep rebooking my flight and saving money. So
yeah, we're just
hoping,
we're praying and
praying.
praying.
No, absolutely. So if I'm just holding the flight there because if they finally say, hey, we're good to go, I'm flying out. If not, I'm going to rebook. I'll come out a little bit later once everything's done. We will still do dinner.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring my physical Steelbook copy with me, and we'll get you guys to sign it. And that'll be the Crashing Game Night memorabilia for all of you guys being on the podcast.
That's awesome.
And then I can't wait to meet the fellas. You know, I've only seen their mugshots and faces.
Mugshots and whatnot.
Gloriousness.
Well,
were you eating again?
Oh, I mean, I have it ready. John, I have
it
ready.
I knew it. I saw you drinking, and I'm like, I knew it. Always making me hungry. Every time I do a damn podcast, you make me hungry. Well, look, Vic, I love you. It's your show, baby. Have at it. These guys are fabulous. They're outstanding. And I love you all. Much, can't wait till the 10th, and I'll be talking to you all soon.
Sounds good, buddy. Thanks so much for crashing.
God bless. See y'all later. Just stay Avalanche, Vic. Stay Avalanche, baby. Stay Avalanche.
Say it. All right. So I had to, I had to do
now
that
for
you.
Now that's gone, let me tell you, I hate that. No, I'm just kidding. No. He's as awesome and genuine and in a professional setting as he is in his personal life. So he's a great guy. Sorry, go ahead.
I had to do that for you. The second he said you guys go way back and he wants to just surprise you, I had to make that happen for you guys.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing that.
So now we'll get back to you since, John stole the show for a few minutes there. So, let's talk FF7, right? The game that, you are part of. And, you are dressed as the Turk tonight. Wearing the suit.
I have not had any excuse to dress up for anything for the last several weeks, so why not?
Most of us haven't. So
now, of course, this is a podcast, so you don't see that. I've got
that is the best.
So they got the pajama pants, but yes, the top part, yes, I tried to do Tseng justice.
And what's funny is that Walmart said they've had an increase in sales in tops and not bottoms. That's because so many people are doing meetings and stuff from home that they're just dressing up from the waist up.
And true interview and meeting fashion, of course. That's what you do. Top only. Yeah.
So, how much of the game's history did you know before taking on the part?
I didn't know what the project was until my first day of recording. So.
Really? They didn't tell you what it was or anything like that?
I had a code name. And the code name didn't, the code name was simply the code name. And so it didn't mean anything to me. And then I walked in and they said, okay, so did they tell you what this is? And I was like, no. They're like, oh, this is Final Fantasy. And I was like, whoa.
Oh,
so that was, that really blew me away. and I didn't want to freak out, but I was like, this is so cool.
So back in the day when you actually did play games, did you actually play Final Fantasy VII and know the history of the game?
I did not get to play. My wife is a huge fan. She's told me that she spent a really wonderful summer just playing 9 over and over and just leveling up Yeah,
Love
yeah. So
9.
so she's told me about her experiences with Final Fantasy IX, and it sounds amazing.
So what was the audition process like? 'Cause I know a couple of our Twitter listeners, followers have asked that. Is like, how did they reach out to you? Did they reach out to you, or did your voice agent say, hey, there's this audition coming up? How did that whole play out?
Fortunately, I have really wonderful voiceover agents. They're the team at Vox, and they're just fantastic. They're always hustling. They're just really hardworking and good people. And they sent me the audition for a few different characters, and now I understand what they were going for. The casting studios at Skylark Studios, Skylark Sound, and what they were trying to do was they were trying to honor the original Japanese delivery and the characters and the actors that had portrayed it in Japanese. So we were given English lines, but asked to sort of replicate the feel of the Japanese delivery as well. So it's an interesting balancing
wow.
act. Yeah, it's a very interesting balancing act because, of course, you want to do it with the intonations that feel most natural and right for you in English, but at the same time, you're trying to respect what has already been laid down, the groundwork that has been previously laid down and stuff. So you try to do this balancing act, and I was fortunate enough that they liked my rendition of Tseng.
That's great. That sounds like it would be quite difficult, actually. That sounds like quite like a pretty difficult audition to me, even just for a normal audition.
It's the whole
go ahead.
It's the whole trying to get like that whole like essence and aura that they originally wanted. That's like
Yeah, that's
in
not
Japanese.
easy.
In Japanese, they already have their idea.
Yeah.
And to like have that like brought over into English, it's just like, whoa, okay. Because sometimes some characters, when they have that actress, it doesn't match up, and I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, wait, I don't see that voice, I don't feel it, I don't get that like presence. But yeah, like I can totally get like what their thought process was, and that does seem like really intense.
And
trying to
honestly, everybody so far, when I look at their pictures, right, and who they're matching up with, hear the voices, man, they have put together such an amazing cast that fits every person perfectly. From, I look at, I listen to, the trailer with you, right, and see you in person and whatnot, and you fit Tseng, just like John fits Barrett, and Bree fits Aerith, and Cody is Cloud. It's like everybody just fits perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think we're in for another generational game.
I sure as heck hope so. That's a huge compliment to us as actors, but also to the casting director, Rita. I'm gonna mangle her last name. I'm almost hesitant to say her last name because it's here. Let me just get her name proper so that I don't mess it up. Sorry, I just destroyed all momentum on this. I apologize.
Not at all. We derail all the time.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got to do a podcast with these two. Especially when Jerry decides to go all salty on FF7.
Well, it's not. I didn't get salty on FF7. It was more. I lost hope that we were never going to get a release, or it was going to get delayed again. So because stemming back to 13 years in the process, I was just like, yeah, I got a little salty, but it's coming. I cannot wait, and I'm going to play every single minute of it and more.
Wonderful. All right, so let me try to say that again, since I just completely broke my train of thought and everything. But what I was saying was what you were saying is a huge compliment to us as actors, but it's also a huge tribute to the incredible work that Rita Kedinoglu I'm sure I botched that. Ken Noglu of Skylark Sound did in finding us, as well as the fantastic directors that we worked with. Colette Sunderman, who's actually directed me in a few episodes of Ben 10 that'll be coming up. She directed me in one of those. Yeah, yeah. I'll speak about that a little bit later if you want. But she directed me, as well as another gentleman whose name I don't remember. But throughout the process, it was they worked so hard to get us to basically respect the original Japanese and to try and to again walk that tightrope between doing it the way we want to do it, but also respecting the original Japanese. And so we would listen to the Japanese lines and hear the intonations and hear the efforts and the breaths and see if we could incorporate that into the English. And as well, the timing was also tricky too, because we were trying to match up the exact timing of the delivery of the line. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was a wonderful challenge, but fortunately, we had Rita and Colette and all this wonderful team members all working together on it. And I remember, in all our sessions, there would be this gentleman named John who spoke Japanese and English, and he would be listening to my rendition, and then he would be speaking to people in Japan, especially one woman in Japan in Japanese, making sure that everybody involved was happy with the process and stuff. So yes, so definitely everybody put a lot of care into this, and I sure hope it all paid off. So I'm hearing that it's paying off. So
we can assure you from the demo that we played and everything that we've seen, we will not be disappointed. And congratulations to everyone, and thank you for doing such a great job. I mean, it was just
thank you.
We can't wait. There's
thank you.
So speaking of fandom and everything like that, what has your impression of the Final Fantasy community been since your name has now been revealed as Tseng? How's it been interacting with people? I know it's only been on Twitter or social media, because of course there's no cons to go to or anything like that, but how's it been for you to interact with the fans and whatnot?
It's been great. Everybody's been so appreciative, encouraging. Like I said, I'm a very shy, introverted person. It's actually hard for me to talk about stuff that I'm doing because it feels a little bit weird. It's also not the Asian traditional Asian way that I was brought up. So it's hard. So it's wonderful for people to reach out to me and say, "Oh, I'm so excited about this," and stuff. So I've been really excited to interact with the fans of Final Fantasy, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it.
Nice. All right. Nice. So let's talk some Q&A.
Sure.
We got some really good Q&A questions from some of our listeners. So the first one is coming from Darren Simmons, who is at XXShadowCamiXX on Twitter. He is the co-host of the podcast Rusty Rupees. And he wanted to know, what do you do to get in the zone when you're doing your voiceover work or your acting?
The wonderful thing about acting is it's a game of make-believe. Yeah, I mean, you can say a lot of things. There's a lot of steps that we go through, especially when you're a beginning actor. It's like, what are you fighting for? What is your objective? What are your obstacles and stuff like that? And of course, you sort of do an abbreviated version of it. But to boil it down, it's playing, it's make believe, and it's the most fun game of make believe that you can imagine, because you get paid for it, you get to be part of this wonderful process, and you just get to pretend to be somebody else, and I love that. I may have mentioned it before, but I'm not particularly cool in real life, but this way, sometimes I get to play cool characters like Tseng, who are far cooler than I am in real life.
So to follow up on it, though, does it feel like it gets easier as you do more voice acting work or more work in general? Like, does it get easier?
Definitely. It definitely does get easier, and you learn you learn about yourself in the world of voice acting. You learn more about your voice, and you can learn about what your voice is capable of doing and what it's not capable of doing. You know, when I filmed, not when I filmed, when I recorded an episode of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was directed by Rob Paulson, who played Pinky in Pinky and the Brain, and that guy.
Man.
That guy was amazing.
That guy's insane. He also does Obi-Wan.
He does everything.
He does everything.
He does everything, and he does a million different voices. He slips in and out of accents and in and out of voices the way that other people slip on a different T-shirt. You know, it's just effortless to him. I am not Rob Paulson. I cannot do those 6 zillion things. I can't do a high school girl to save my life. But I bet Rob Paulson can, because he can do anything, you know. So you learn about your voice, and I'm strong at what I do well, and I'm proud of that. And yeah, you learn more about what your strengths are, and I'm happy to capitalize on my strengths.
Okay.
All right. So the next question, I'm going to kind of take part of it out because you already kind of talked about it. So Frank in tweet had, asked how you were approached for Tseng. So we already covered that piece on how you auditioned and whatnot. But part of his question was, were you in the same studio room recording as some of the other voice actors, or was it just you?
It was just me. Sometimes they will record voice actors at the same time, in which case it's just, a whole bunch of headphones and stuff. But in this case, for my role, it was just me. And they would play the Japanese lines. They might play the intro line, the preceding line, so I could respond back to it. But it was just me in the recording booth itself. And one of the things that we worked with Tseng was me trying to understand his character a little bit better, because at first, especially not having been told that it was Final Fantasy, I was like, wait, so is he a good guy? Because if he's a good guy, I can do my good guy voice. But if he's a bad guy, I can do my bad guy voice. But then as we talked about Tseng, I realized, okay, he's ambiguous. There's good qualities to him, there's bad qualities to him, and that's what makes him a full featured character that is such a joy to portray.
Now, to follow that up, a follower of ours over on Facebook, Austin Archer, wanted to know from what Square has revealed. Okay, so we don't want to go into any NDAs because we're still under embargoes and all of that right now. But from what Square has revealed in the trailers and what you've been, I'm assuming, hopefully your wife maybe filled you in on some of the Final Fantasy stuff or what you've kind of seen afterwards, is he wanted to know is, do you think that Tseng is being portrayed the same as the original and that he's staying true to that essence?
I would say that given the amount of respect that they're paying to the original, I hope that I would say that, yes, it is, it's honoring the original, I would say.
Awesome. We'll leave it at that because, like I said, we're under embargoes, we're under NDAs and all of that.
So close.
We love Square Enix enough, and honestly, they believed in us enough when we were starting this thing, and I requested media access for them, and they granted it to us for their press room and press releases. So I don't want to do anything to get that yanked. So we're just going to leave it at that. So another follower of ours, which the real Nanaki is his Twitter handle, wanted to know, because a lot of the questions he had, we've already discussed. We've already, gone over a lot of things, but same question he asked John, which he wants to ask of you. Okay. Is if you could voice act or play any character from fiction or real life, who would it be and why?
Oh yeah, this was a good question.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, my mind is just boggled right now. So if I could, the question was voice act or
voice act or actually real act. So, which don't worry, he did the same thing to John too. So,
it's a fantastic question. It's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
Let me think a little bit.
That's where we play the Jeopardy music in the background.
You know, okay, I gotta say this is being colored by what book we just finished reading with my kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the character that's coming to my mind is we're going through the Roald Dahl books right now with my kid.
Wow.
And we've just gotten through Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. And so I gotta say that Willy Wonka is just zooming through my head. And if I could ever get to be Willy Wonka, oh my gosh, like this mad genius, like filled with love and insanity and also just wanting somebody to bond with. He is by himself, like what a wonderful, amazing experience it would be to get to portray Willy Wonka.
Also,
now that said,
what an unpredictable character too. That would be
exactly
that'd be a lot of fun.
And now, of course, Gene Wilder did such an amazing job that I'm pretty sure it would be hard to top that level of insanity. But I gotta say that character is just wonderful, and it's wonderful just having a kid to read books with and read your childhood books with your kid because I'm just getting to relive all of them and we're starting up on BFG right now and then
cool.
And I can't wait to get into Danny the Champion of the World and because that was also this one that not nearly as
elementary
fantastic.
Elementary school is now flashing through my head now.
Yeah.
We've been having good times with bedtime stories.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good answer. That's a really good answer.
All right, so we have one last listener question.
Okay.
And it comes from Twitter follower @Vic Chao, who asks, "What is the capital of Burkina Faso?"
Wagadagu! Wagadagu! Wagadagu!
I had to.
Thank you.
Put that out there, and you're like, somebody do it, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it.
I have a dream that my Final Jeopardy, I'm on Final Jeopardy, and the question will be, what is the capital of Burkina Faso? And I can say Ouagadougou. So it's just this piece of trivia that's been just rolling in my head for decades, literally, because Ouagadougou is such a wacky, weird place name. So thank you very much. It's Ouagadougou. Yes. So
when you tweeted that out, I sat there and I just laughed hysterically when I saw that tweet, and I'm like, "Yep, that's going in the podcast." So really, speaking of Twitter listeners and followers, so something we like to do is anytime that someone takes their time out of their day to actually thank us for the job we do with our podcast, we kind of like to give them a little shout out. So we have a new listener that actually went out of their way to give us some compliments, and I want to shout out to VK Marion, who said, @CGM Podcast, just discovered your podcast with all the hype of FF7 Remake and your interviews with the cast. Thank you for such an entertaining show. It's been keeping me company during my long hours at the drawing table. I love the enthusiasm you guys have. Keep up the great work."
Shout out to you, man.
Shout out, man.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much.
Thank you.
That's why we do it, and we appreciate all of you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's nice seeing those. It's actually been starting to happen a little bit more often, and we've been plugging at this for since January 1st of last year.
Yeah.
And, it's nice that people actually take the time to say, "Hey, great job. Thank you for making my day, making us laugh," because that's what we started this whole thing out as about, is like that whole concept of game night. your friends, your family are all over. You're having fun. You're BSing. You're giving each other, some smack and whatnot, and it's just having fun. And to make people laugh, especially during these times when a lot of people are fighting depression and everything, it just makes us feel that much better. So, I know you haven't been, playing games because you got away from that.
I have an obsessive nature, and I love video games, but I had to stop because it's like I think you've probably all experienced this thing where it's like you're playing and you don't want to stop, and so you just sprint to the restroom and you pee as quickly as you can so you can sprint back and then just keep on going and then
You mean Jerry with Red Dead Redemption 2?
This has been an ongoing joke, but it's true. That it was just one of those games, which Final Fantasy is probably going to be one of those games too.
Oh, definitely.
I could not put it down, and it was just, like everything about the game, I just could not put it down. And like these guys know, like Jerry, what are you playing right now? I'm Red Dead.
It's come play with us. Nope, I'm fishing.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask these two fine gentlemen though, is how is Sekiro coming along?
Oh my god.
I had to put it down.
I stopped.
I went to Animal Crossing just to get my mind like.
Wait, you went to Animal Crossing to get away from Sekiro?
Yeah, I did. I really did.
I had to take a week off to just dive back into Final Fantasy 14 a lot more because I just can't. There's a game.
So
Vic, to put it very quickly, me and Jerry, we both started Sekiro, which supposedly is one of like the most difficult games out there.
It is.
Okay.
So we started at the same time, and we're just like, okay, like we just every week we kind of get it together and like see how far we've gotten and stuff like that. Oh
we are not that far.
We are not that far.
Trying so hard. It's such a brutal game, and it's just like it really tests your patience, like everything. And but it is a great game, but it's I needed a break. I needed a break.
Jerry, when are you gonna finally be on so I can come bring you your fruit shipment so we can get your island up and running?
I'm on tonight. I will be on tonight.
All right, once we're done, I'll hop on.
Yes.
I'll bring you your fruit.
Thanks.
So that's the one thing with Animal Crossing that I think has been such a perfect storm too, is because during this time when we can't socially interact, people are finding ways to socially interact through Animal Crossing, bringing supplies to everybody. Hey, my island started off with cherries, so everyone's bringing in like all the rest of the fruits so their islands can start getting up and running and whatnot. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
If people can only do that in real life with toilet paper, we'd be really, really great.
Yeah. If people can only apply that to being nice, being helpful out right now, that would be great. Yeah. Because it's tough out there right now.
So Vic, I gotta ask you one question, one final question that we ask all guests.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason I don't tell them this question, because we don't need you preparing for it, because we need you on the spot. So what is your favorite game to play for game night when you're playing with family and friends? So whether that's a board game, a card game, charades, whatever it is, what is your favorite game for game night?
Made up family game, but it's family game night. What is your game?
Family game night, Pictionary. Oh no, wait, no, no, Taboo. Okay, sorry.
Classic. Nice.
Okay, all depends. Okay, the answer is going to be for a family game night. Now that like kid is old enough to participate, Pictionary, definitely. Drawing stuff. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for making me think of this. We can play Pictionary. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. I haven't even thought about this. It's sitting on our shelf. Thank you so much. Yes, we're definitely going to be playing Pictionary. Now, if it's just me and my wife, what we love doing is Taboo. Where that game where it's like you're given a series of words, but you're not allowed to say certain buzzwords and stuff. we rock at that, mostly because my wife is about 3 times more intelligent than me. So we're insanely good at that
Nice.
together. And
Those are
then
some classics. Good.
and if I'm by myself, if I'm doing a game night for myself, man, Psychonauts is still the greatest game that
Nice.
I know this is quite a while ago, but yeah, Psychonauts was just probably, in my opinion, the perfect video game ever. The blend of platforming and puzzles and humor and incredible characters and voice acting and music. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on about Psychonauts. So Psychonauts. Oh, Portal too. Love Portal as well. But anyway, if I got to stick with one answer, I've already given you.
I mean, there's no right wrong answer because
I mean, heck, in my house it's Ticket to Ride, and also Munchkin.
Yeah, because sometimes you feel like one thing, sometimes you feel like another.
Yeah, and sometimes you just feel like ruining friendships, like in Mario Kart.
Yeah, our family, like with me and my family, which we have had to retire. We've retired the game for like 4 years because it gets serious. Monopoly, classic Monopoly, has been our family game night, but there are times we've retired it for
admit it. Hold on, admit it. You retired it because you kept getting beat, which is why the belt resides with Jason.
Right here, Monopoly champ of Crashing Game Night.
That's with Jason. I'm talking about with my family.
Okay.
My family.
Oh, what?
It's
so Jason's not family? What, you're saying this isn't family?
Well, no, I'm talking about with my siblings and all that. Of course, my friends, yes. And Jason, I am coming for you. I still have the game. We're playing, bro. But yeah. It gets serious in the household.
It was so serious at E3 last year. I had to be mediator. They were like offering up deals, and I had to try and mediate them.
Wait, you were playing Monopoly at E3?
So on the Switch, so we had the Switch with us. So we had the Monopoly video game on the Switch, and we were sitting there playing with it and whatnot. So we're sitting there waiting in line. People are kind of like going, "What the heck are you guys doing?"
And they're hearing these two guys arguing, and like everyone's turning around. Oh my God, they're playing Monopoly. They're arguing about deals going on right now. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jerry, since you missed it last week, I have now beat floor 15 on Luigi's Mansion. All I've got left is King Boo. That's it.
Stick with it and finish it. Finally.
But yeah, it's been an Animal Crossing week. So I know we've let everybody know what your Twitter is at Vic Chao, but how else can fans find you?
Thanks for asking. I appreciate it, because again, I'm shy, and so it actually helps me if people follow me, if they interact with me, because that encourages me to do more of that. So please come and follow me and interact with me, ask me questions. I'd love to share with you that. So my name is Vic Chao, Viccchao, A as in Alpha, O as in Oscar. And so Twitter, it's at vicchao.com. Instagram, it's at vicchao1, so the number 1. So it's at VICCHAO, the number 1. And then Facebook, it's Vic Chao Actor, so VICCHAOACTOR. So thanks for asking about that. And yes, please do follow me, because it will encourage the introverted, shy part of me to actually do more stuff on that. So thank you for asking.
All right. No, absolutely. We like to make sure everybody knows where they can follow our guests and everything. It's, you guys do a lot for us, so we like to return the favor. So, Vic, once again, I want to absolutely thank you for crashing game night with us tonight. It has been an absolute treat. Once again, glad I could make your night by arranging a little crashing with John Eric Bentley.
That was awesome.
Yep. So to our listeners, if you like what you heard, as always, please make sure to hit that subscribe button on the podcast platform you're listening to us on. Follow us at CGN Podcast or me on Twitter at CGN_Matt. Also, crashinggamenight.com. I want to say, everyone, especially during what's going on right now in the world, please be excellent to each other and stay frosty.
That's right, all my fellow nerds. Listen to my man Matt there. Let's all try and muscle up all the kindness we can. Let's help each other at this time of need, and let's just try and be there for each other. Thank you all for joining us, and Vic, thank you so much for joining us. This is true. Like, these interviews are treats for us, and we really appreciate you taking the time.
I had such a blast. Oh, sorry, go ahead. You please go ahead.
No, go ahead, Vic. Sorry.
Oh, no. I had such a blast chatting with you guys. I mean, you guys make it just a lot of fun, and yeah, it's just like hanging out with a bunch of cool people who are easy to talk to. So, and most importantly, this was a better podcast than the one with John Bentley, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As long as I can beat John Eric Bentley, that's all that matters. So.
Well, you know, like we tell all our guests, you are welcome back anytime. So if you are just hanging out and you need something to do, shoot me a message, and
if you have anything to announce, promote, please give us a ring.
You're welcome back anytime.
Or crash it just like John did tonight, and just say, hey.
Yeah, I will keep an eye out. I will keep an eye out if there's somebody that I'm buddies with. I definitely will be crashing. Thank you so much for that invitation.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely
Jason?
a last shout out. Thank you again, Vic, for coming on. Like, we are excited, as a lot of other people around the world that are just waiting for this, like literally 7 days from our recording now. Just around the corner, and a special Turk snap for that.
Oh, wow! You're gonna do us dirty like that, Jason?
Oh,
hey!
No, it's Avalanche. It's Avalanche, baby.
No, man. I should have had my suit on too, man. Like. Yeah.
And with that, we'll send it out how Theo likes to do it, and TTFN, ta-ta for now. Everybody.